guys, Tighebo here, and we are once again back with another Expect the Unexpected, chapter 16. Last chapter, we had, another filler chapter, but, with some Star Wars references, and of course, a hint to what we can expect from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, and the toy animatronics, so. That's basically a brief summary of what happened in the last chapter. It was another short chapter. As always, if you want to follow along with the chapter at home, follow along with the chapter reading, there is a link to the chapter in the description below, as always. But yeah, let's get on to chapter 16. Do you think she could make that chair combust if she keeps staring like that? Bonnie whispered to Freddy. All the animatronics were currently leaning to peek in through the office doorway. Ruby was in the office. Ruby was never in the office. Why was Ruby in the office? Wonder what's bothering the lass, Foxy murmured, a frown curving his mouth down. They all were wondering that. Ruby had stopped to work that night and immediately holed up in the office. She hadn't said a word and looked to either be thinking deeply about something or trying to physically set the chair ablaze. Of course, she was sitting on the table. She just couldn't be normal. Should we ask? Goldie wondered uncertainly. They exchanged looks. Rock, paper, scissors? Chica suggested. No one really wanted to be the one to go, so Goldie cheated and disappeared before they got started, and the floor played a few matches. Bonnie lost and was shoved into the office. Poor Bonnie. Don't worry, you're her second favorite. You'll be fine. Ruby? He asked nervously as she looked up at the intrusion. Everything okay? She blinked a couple of times at him before that murderous gleam vanished from her eyes and she groaned. Sorry, Bonnie. Just got some things on my mind. Didn't mean to make you guys worry. She rubbed her face and sighed. Anything we can do to help? The rabbit asked, relieved that the menacing atmosphere was gone. Sure, they were on friendly terms with the night guard, but she was still very unpredictable. At least she apologized sometimes now. Sometimes. Don't worry about it. I don't even know if there is a problem yet. She leaned back on the table, precariously balanced, becoming even more unstable. She flipped idly through the cameras and smirked in amusement. The others do know that they're hiding right in view of the cameras, right? Bonnie snickered. Yeah, they waited at the end of the hall in case things get violent. Ruby shook her head. Not that bad. Where's Goldie? Bailed on us like a coward. The rabbit sniffed in annoyance. This time she laughed. Giggling, she started rapidly switching between the poster and the kitchen. Bonnie caught on and started laughing too. You're evil, you know that? Why, thank you. Ruby grinned brightly, just before Goldie appeared with a squeak. Bailey on your friends is not nice, sunshine. The girl's smile grew wider as she leapt at the suit. Goldie went down under Ruby's bear hug and groaned. I hate that summoning thing. Bear hugging the ghost bear. Bonnie was laughing again. The of us decided to come see what all the commotion was about, and were rather confused to see the two hug wrestling on the floor. What's going on? Freddy asked, perplexed. Punishment hug, Ruby sang, and tightened her hold. It was really difficult not to laugh at such a thing, and only Freddy managed to remain calm. This is going to be a long night, he sighed, as Foxy grabbed Bonnie in a headlock. Ruby sat on a table at the back of the room while the animatronics watched another Harry Potter movie. Goldie had thrown a fit when they said that they wanted to watch Pirates of the Caribbean instead, and insisted on finishing the series of magical movies first. At this point, Ruby was considering getting this series of books, but she was worried that the bear would never socialize again if she did. She watched the box with affection, but her smile slid off her face as her mind turned to darker thoughts. She'd done a little research when she got home the previous night, and the results were still weighing heavily on her mind. Ruby scaled the steps to her room quickly and impatiently paced while her computer turned on. She wouldn't be able to sleep unless she found out about these new animatronics. First, she checked the restaurant's website and found the same poster she'd seen on the way home. Seeing it in the light, she paused. They looked, well, shiny. Kind of plastic looking. Nothing like the cuddly animatronics she knew. She didn't care if no one else agreed with her there. To her, they were cuddly. Not that she'd ever mentioned that around any of them yet. Under the poster were the words, "The toys are coming to town." Toys, Ruby remembered as she sat back. Is that what they're called? They do kind of look like dolls, I guess. There wasn't any other information on the site except a small paragraph saying that the management was excited to have found these animatronics. Found. Ruby frowned. The management didn't order them? They look way too similar to the current gang, so did that mean that they had been used at a Freddy's establishment before? She drew her legs up on the chair and rested her chin on her knees. She was getting a really bad feeling about all this. She sighed softly to herself. Once again, the internet was no help. There was hardly any information on the pizzeria out there, it seemed. She leaned back against the wall and flipped through the cameras again. Nothing out of the ordinary. She just couldn't seem to focus on the movie. What with all these thoughts buzzing through her head? She looked up and noticed Freddy looking at her. Deciding that Freddy was probably the best choice to talk to about this. The restaurant was named Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria after all. She pointed towards the hallway suddenly and slipped off the table to quietly make her way out, indicating that he must follow. He nodded and stood, making some excuses to the others who were too caught up in the movie to really notice that anything was off. Once out of the room, the bear raised an eyebrow. So you want to tell me what's got you so deep in thought? Ruby leaned on the wall as she thought her words through. You guys have been around for a while, right? Well, now, right? Worked at different incarnations of the pizzeria? He nodded slowly. Yes, we worked at the first Freddy Fazbear Pizzeria. There was a diner before for it, but only Goldie was around then. Ruby looked surprised. Really? Didn't know that. She filed the piece of information away to mull over it later. For now, she still had questions. Were there ever any other animatronics at a pizzeria that you know of? She watched his reaction carefully. The bear stiffened and his eyes narrowed. He was silent for a moment, looking at her intently before he slowly nodded. Yes, once. A group of animatronics replaced us. It was clear that the memory was painful to think about. This time it was Ruby who stiffened. Replace? She hissed, barely remembering to keep her voice down. Freddie glanced at the group, but they were still really into the movie. Yeah, they only lasted 4 weeks, though. She looked in surprise. 4 weeks? He nodded. Place closed down. Don't know what happened to them after that. At the next location, we got repaired and got back to work. Ruby really didn't like they had to get repaired. Just what had happened? Why do you ask? He was staring intently at her again. She sighed in frustration and banged the back of her head against the wall behind her as she leaned back. Saw a poster advertising new animatronics? Didn't know much because apparently the internet doesn't know that this place exists. She watched him stiffen again out the corner of her eye. I see, he murmured, frown deepening. The website said that the management found them, though. So I'm wondering if it's the bunch that you mentioned, she sighed. He rubbed a hand over his face and groaned. I really hope not. Was there a description of them? There was a picture. They look like plasticky rip-offs of you guys, honestly, with a lot of makeup. He snorted out a surprised laugh. Seems he liked the description. After a moment of amusement, though, his expression turned serious. It's the same guys, isn't it? She asked softly. Yeah, which means they're bringing a whole new problem with them, too. He covered his eyes, looking exhausted. What's going on? Chica's voice interrupted them before she could ask him to elaborate. They turned to see that the others had paused the movie and come over to see what was going on. Goldie didn't look happy about it, and she kept sneaking peeks back at the frozen image image. Ruby glanced at Freddy, and he sighed deeply before turning to face the others fully. Ruby saw a poster advertising that the toys are being brought here, he explained gently, like he was breaking really bad news. Their reactions were immediate and extreme. Goldie's eyes snapped away from the screen, and she looked completely horrified, mouth opening slightly as if she wanted to speak. Chica looked down. Chica let out a squeak and began wringing her hands nervously, looking fearful. Foxy ground, slamming a fist into the wall next to him. Bonnie's reaction was what really worried her, as his expression clearly stated he was not with them anymore and was instead relieving some very unpleasant memories. Ruby's protective instincts flared up, big time, and she had to clench her fists to prevent her from doing anything rash. Are we being replaced again? Chica asked softly, eyes downcast. Ruby clenched her jaw, and Freddy placed a comforting hand on the chicken's shoulder. If robots could cry, there was no doubt in her mind that the animatronic would be in tears. Don't know, Chica. All it said was new animatronics. The bear murmured softly in her ear, softly to her. When? Foxy growled. All eyes turned to Ruby, and she forced her jaw to relax. Poster said a month. Goldie let out a soft whimper, as her eyes darted from one friend to the other. Bonnie still looked like he was in a trance. Bonnie? Hey, come on, Bonnie. You with us? Foxy's anger lessened somewhat as he gazed worriedly at the rabbit. Bonnie blinked a couple of times and took in a shaky breath. Yeah, sorry. Silence descended on the group. Ruby glared at the floor, furious at whoever could make her friends react like this. Eventually, Foxy coaxed Bonnie off to the side to talk quietly, while Freddy kept his calm a little ways away. Goldie stood with Ruby, watching everyone with concern. What happened? The night guard asked softly, not looking at the suits. Goldie looked at her, uncertainty pouring on her face. The restaurant doesn't know about you, so they... Oh wait. The restaurant doesn't know about you, so they couldn't have replaced you. She spat the word placed out like it was poison. So I only saw what happened. What happened to my butts? Her voice was even throughout, but the fury was barely concealed. Goldie's heart jumped happily at the protectiveness suggested by the words, my butts. That was what made the decision for her. The management, they thought that the gang was getting too old, that they weren't going to bring in new customers. So they got new animatronics, called them the toy generation. All the advertisements said that they were new and better. It broke everyone's hearts. It's dating kids. It's what we're made for. To take that away it's really cruel. Ruby didn't miss that Goldie had said we, but decided to stay quiet for now. They replaced the gang, put them in storage. It was awful. She drew in a shuddering breath, but what was worse was what I don't know what they were trying to do. Trying to fit the new tech into them, or taking parts that they needed but didn't want to buy. Ruby's heart plummeted. The staff took parts from the gang. It was terrible. Everyone lost something. It was the worst for Bonnie. She glanced at the rabbit. I hated it. But those new guys, toys, they were horrible. Told them that they were old and worthless. Useless. Do you know how that wears on someone? She looked up into Ruby's eyes with a pleading gaze. The night guard felt a crushing sensation in her chest, dark memories threatened to drag her down. Yeah, I do, she whispered, pushing the memories away. She needed to be here for the bots. This wasn't about her. Goldie looked at her in concern, but Ruby just waited for her to continue, urging her to finish. She did after a moment. It broke their spirits. It was already tough with the ghost making them go after the night guards. Then this happened, and they got the toys to do it instead. They weren't very good at it, though. Eventually, the ghost got frustrated and made the gang do it anyway. It was really dark. It was a really dark time. After a week, though, there was an incident at a birthday party. Ruby found the vague description. The restaurant closed and everyone was put into storage. We haven't seen the toys since. Ruby stared at the ground for a long time while Goldie watched her anxiously. Eventually, Freddie and Chica moved over to them, obviously concerned with her stillness. Ruby? Freddie asked. Bonnie and Foxy looked over at the ward and frowned when they saw her. What? The bear began before Ruby snapped. Over my dead body! She screamed suddenly, losing the tiniest hold she had on her temper. There is no way in hell that I'm letting anything like that happen. I'm going to go Chainsaw Chainsaw Massacre on the management before I let some glorified dolls replace anyone. She spun around, breathing hard as she tried to rein in her temper. When that didn't work, she resorted to kicking the nearest chair. When that didn't work, she began plotting. Fireworks. I'm putting bloody fireworks under the management chair for this. They thought I was bad before. She laughed. I'm gonna be an absolute nightmare now. Now calm down, Ruby. Freddie tried. Calm down. Calm down. She yelled, spinning around again. How can I calm down when you tell me that the robots that they were bringing in hurt you like that? She felt the tears stinging her eyes and cursed the fact that she was an angry crier. That they're messed with my childhood idols? That they might be coming to replace my friends? She scrubbed furiously at her eyes as they stared dumbfounded at her. And don't do that! Don't look like you've already accepted it as inevitable. She glared at them, looking ready to hit anyone who disagreed with her. Chica was one to speak, surprisingly. Friends? She murmured, looking shocked like everyone else. But we tried to kill you. Multiple times. Ruby stared at her. Yeah, but it wasn't your fault. It's not like I'm buddies with the ghosts. Of course you're my friends. I have been since I was a kid. I've never considered you as anything else. And now if that didn't make all their hearts melt. You're way too good for us, you know? Bonnie gave her a watery smile. She folded her arms. Don't care what you say. You're stuck with me. And I swear that I'm not going to let those toys take over. She held everyone's gaze individually for a moment to let that sink in. Besides, letting a bunch of Barbie dolls run the place? As if. Even though she was clearly still angry, that signature smirk shone through. They got a breathless laugh from everyone. Guess we really should stop underestimating you. Huh, lass? Foxy murmured. She grinned at him, that manic light shining bright in her eyes. So, who's up for setting up traps every winter night? There's a staff meeting in the morning that I have to attend, so I'll get to watch the show. She started to bounce in place. Freddie's expression grew stern. No actual fireworks. She pouted. Spoil sport. After a brief argument, the mood was light enough that they all got into setting the traps. Ruby handed out stink bombs, glitter mines, and paint bombs to everyone. She and Bonnie rigged the oven to throw flour when it was open. Foxy filled the air conditioning system with glitter. Goldie stuck little buttons that delivered an electric shock in random chairs in the staff room, and Ruby left a lovely paint-filled grenade in the manager's office. Revenge was sweet. It was near the end of the night when Foxy was setting another glitter mine that he heard what he'd been waiting for. Ruby, I told you, no fireworks! Freddie's yell echoed through the building and Fox chuckled. Maybe things would be alright with Ruby's help after all. And that's the end of chapter 16. We are getting close to the FNAF 2 storyline, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed that. Ruby was chaotic as usual. It's why I love her so much, especially in the beginning. I mean, she's chaotic now, but I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the chapter. If you did, leave a like, be sure to subscribe, and I guess if you want to continue reading, go ahead, leave a review. I'm sure the authors would appreciate it. I forgot to mention, this is written by Arctic Vulpix. They wrote it. I had nothing to do with it. I'm just appreciating the work they've done because I adore the story. And I adore Ruby because she's amazing. She sticks out in your mind. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And if you want to see all the previous chapters that I've read, there is a playlist that you can see that will be linked at the end here. Who knows, it might be showing on screen now. Probably is. Anyway, I'll see you next Friday with a new video.